Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Darren. I hope you are all well and having a good stitchy week and had a good weekend. So I'm saying had a good weekend. It still is the weekend. It's Saturday here at the moment. I've just done my update video and now I'm doing my stitch with me. Well, stitch with me number 1. So apologies for not doing 2 last week. As I mentioned, it was a bit chaotic towards the end of the week, but as you can see, I'm stitching on my supersized tiger family again. So let's get you zoomed in and hopefully I'm in the right spot. If not, I'll move it. So apologies if the camera shakes while I move. There we go. Right, so let's get into everything. So as I mentioned in my update video, I tried to go see about getting a laptop, and that did not work. I went to a place called JB Hi-Fi over here. I was talking to a lovely lady there. She really helped me out with like the best type of computer to get and all that lot. And I mentioned Shane was already there before me because I was at the post office sending off my birthday cards to my mum and my brother. So he'd already been speaking to her, and they said that they did finance. So I asked her if I would be able to get it with me not being a permanent resident and only a temporary one. So she checked and she says, yep, that's fine, not a problem. She says, how long have you been in the country? So I told her that's coming up 3 years. She went, no, that's fine, you've got to be in the country at least 4 months. So I was like, excellent. So we went through and we sorted out a laptop that she helped me pick. I told her what I needed it for. So we sorted out a laptop. And then I need Microsoft Office for my college course. So she was going to do a deal with that as well and some security. So I was there for about half an hour just going through certain things with her, like what I needed and what I needed it for and all that. So we did all that, and then she went, right, we'll just go to the desk and sort out like the finance and stuff like that. So she left me at the desk with one of the ladies, and we started going through everything. So I had to hand over all my ID and everything. And she was like, you are a an Australian citizen, aren't you? And I went, nope. She went, no. I went, no. She says, I think I missed a stitch on that. I didn't. I went, no, I'm not an Australian citizen. Not yet. I'm still on a temporary residency. She went, how long have you got left on your visa? I went, she says, because you need at least 12 months. I says, well, there is no end date on the visa. I explained to her the visa I was on. I says, I'm a temporary resident. My permanent one's being put in. I'm just waiting for him to approve it or decline it or whatever. And she's like, oh, that might be a problem. So she got one of the staff members who deals with all the finance stuff. She come over and she went, no, we can't do it. She says, you've got to be a permanent resident. She says, we can't do the finance for you. I was like, well, the lady over there checked and she says that you can as long as I was been in the country for more than 4 months and all that lot. And she's like, no, you won't allow us to do it. You've got to be a permanent resident, so we can't do it for you. So I spent probably over an hour in the shop to be told that they can't do it after all that. So, as to say, I came away with no laptop. So, I mean, it's not like Well, the laptop was, well, I wouldn't say it was overly expensive. I think it was something like $700, whatever that is, wherever you come from. So it wasn't overly expensive, but they won't allow me to do it. So now I have to save up to get a laptop. But I was like, this is stupid. You can get car finance over here. You can get mobiles. Being a temporary resident, well, even mobiles, you don't even have to be temporary resident. But yeah, I can get car finance. I can get mobile on my contract, but I can't get a laptop on HP because I'm not a permanent resident, which was a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. So as soon as you get your permanent residency, then by all means come back and we'll sort it out for you. I said, well, I don't know how long it's going to be. Anyway, I happened to go on to the immigration website to see how long it takes. And it says it takes up to 19 months to process your visa. This is for my permanent one. So it's been 13 months, I think. So I've still got another 6 months, up to 6 months, to wait to see if I get my permanent residency. So it's like, well, I wanted to start college course and that before then. Never mind. So I'm still going to have a look, see if there's any other options available to do it. If not, I'm just going to have to save up. I also went and had a look at the college courses. So the gentleman at the college wasn't all that helpful, but it was sort of helpful. Now over here it states like on the college things that it's a set one price, or if you've got subsidies and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I have no idea what they are. Anyway, the subsidy apparently is the government pays so much of your course. They will pay for so much off for 2 courses or something like that altogether. He asked if I was a citizen, and I said no, I'm just on a temporary visa, temporary residency visa. And he says, what visa is it? So I told him what visa it was. He says, oh, you should be good then. He says you should be able to go for the subsidised amount, which is good. But still, it's going to cost me $3,000. Now the $3,000 is if I go into college. Now I told him that I work full time, so the only time I would be able to go into college would be at weekends, which obviously they don't do at weekends. So he marked down all these courses. He says, oh, these ones will probably benefit you then. All of them was in college 2 to 3 times a week from like 8:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or something like that, something stupid like that. And I was like, well, they're no good. I said, well, I wanted to look at doing it online because then I can do it in my own time. So I said, all right then. So he looked to see if the course was online. He says, yeah, you can do it online. And then he gave me this sheet with all the details on there. Now, this is where it gets confusing. So on the sheet, it says that if it's subsidised, which hopefully mine should be, it's only going to cost me $1,000. I thought, oh, that's even better. It saves me an extra $2,000. So it's $1,000, but it says only you can only register 2 units at a time. And it says intake every 12 weeks. And it's like, so does this mean I've got, and the course takes 18 months altogether or something like that. I was like, so does this mean like the units on the course, I think there's 9 units. So does that mean I have to pay $1,000 for every 2 units I do? Or does the $1,000 include all the units and I get them 2 units every 12 weeks? Or I have no idea. So I need to make a phone call on Monday. I missed the stage. On Monday, just to see how it works with regards to that. So I may be able to enroll, and apparently, assuming you meet the criteria, there is a payment option. So how it works, from how I understand how he said, as I say, it wasn't very clear, is if the course is over 18 months, as long as they've got your last payment by month 17, then it's fine. So you pay a set amount every, I don't know, it's every 2 weeks or every month or something like that. So it's like, okay, so if it's $1,000, then that's going to work out great, because it means that I only have to pay, I think it's $58 a month, which is like, I can cope with that. It's only like $13 a week, so that's not a problem. So now I just have to ring them up to find out what's what. So hopefully I'll be able to go to start my college soon, but then again I need to get my laptop first. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. Right, where am I? There we go, so you can see. So for those of you who have asked about my mum, as far as I know, she's alright. She had a... Now, I spoke to my brother on... Well, I didn't speak to him, I messaged him on Monday to see... No, Tuesday morning, because it'd be Monday night that time, to see how she got on with her physio. And apparently, she didn't have done what they were going to do. They were trying to make her go dizzy to find out what's what with her. And she wouldn't go dizzy. So they checked her over and they think it's to do with her back and neck. It's really tense. Now that's probably from the stroke. So they think it's affecting her posture. So that may be why she's going dizzy. So what they're going to do is they're going to try and correct her posture and see if that helps. So that will mean that she needs 4 sessions with them. So 2 one week and 2 the next week to hopefully correct her posture, and this, fingers crossed, will stop her from going dizzy. So, but I will know more when I ring her tomorrow. So I will let you know on that one. So I don't know when she's having her first sessions. I don't know if it was this week just gone or if it's this week coming up. So as soon as I've got an update for you, I will let you know. I'm not even in view there, you can't even see what I'm doing. So yeah, so she's hopefully going to be getting sorted. Hopefully. So I sent my birthday cards off for them yesterday. That wasn't cheap. I had to send 2 birthday cards, and I had to send some documentation back to my brother that I needed to sign. And it cost me like $13 to send them. I was like, whoa, that's more than I normally cost. Normally, if I send cards or anything like that, it costs me only a couple of dollars. So it's obviously the paperwork I put in there weighed it a bit more. So yeah, so it cost me $13 for the postage and $1 something for the envelope. Oh, that was confusing and all in the post office. They had envelopes on one wall and envelopes on another wall. But how they got it marked out, it didn't read right. So I'm looking at it and it's like all international post ones are on this side. So it's like, okay. It was like $25 for an envelope. It's like, yeah, I'm not paying that much for an envelope just to send 2 birthday cards. But these ones were all the international tracked ones. So I was like, oh, I'm not bothered about tracked ones. It took me ages to find the right envelope I needed. I was like, and they cost me $1.25 in the end. What for the envelope? But yeah, they've not great. They didn't have it worked out very well. Then they didn't have any pens around, so I could write on it. So I had to ask at the desk if they had any pens. So, oh yeah, we've got pens, but we can't leave them out because of all the COVID stuff. So you get given a pen, you write on it, give them the pen back, and then they throw the pen away. It's like, why don't you just wipe it with a sterile wipe or something? 'Cause I'm assuming they'll have gone through loads and loads of pens because they throw every single one away, which is a bit crazy, but hey, they know what they're doing. Once I get all these loose ends tied in, I should be able to make some good progress on this piece. That's my next colour here. I apologise if you can't see them very clearly. I'm going to say some of these colours are the lighter colours in the tiger's face, so you may not be able to see exactly how clear they are. So, I have a couple of questions, not many. So, one is not a question, one's a request. So this is from Elaine, who asks if I can do a quick tutorial on 10 stitch on 25 count. Now, I can do a quick tutorial, that's not a problem, but it won't be on 25 count. I don't have any projects on 25 count that I'm doing in 10 stitch. So I'm going to do it on 28 count, but it's exactly the same, no matter what size fabric you're doing it on. So what I will do is on my next Stitch With Me piece, I will do one that is in 10 stitch, and then I can give you a guide as to how I do it, whether it's right or wrong, who knows. This is the way I do it and it works for me. So you can use that way or adapt it to your own way, but it just gives you a guide of how I do it. I'm going to say it is, when you first do 10 stitch, it can be a bit tricky, but once you get into the swing of it, it works out easy. And I was saying, it goes a lot faster than doing your full cross. Let's see. So I will show you that one. As I say, it is on easy guide, so it depends if you've got your fabric gridders as well as to how easy it is to do. But I'll do that for you on my next Stitch With Me, which I'm going to film either later on today or tomorrow. I need to get some stitching in first, because obviously when I'm on a Zoom tonight at, well, it was 6 o'clock my time, so obviously when I'm on Zooms I don't seem to get a lot of stitching done. Seem to spend more time having a laugh and stitching incorrectly and pulling it out and stitching it again. I'd say last time I did some stitching on Zoom, I did nearly a full day on Zoom and only did like 400 stitches. So yeah, I didn't get much done at all that time. Let me just check if I've got any more of this colour. I want to apologise as well to anyone if I made you jump last week's. Apparently I made someone jump. There was a big silence. Well, I was obviously, I must have been marking something off or something, and then it came on. Well, came back with me talking or something like that and scared the life out of them. Obviously concentrating too much on what they were doing. So I apologise for that. do this pin stitch. I'll find the next question. And say no, I don't have a lot of questions. I've got a couple. Right. So the next one is from Sally. So first of all, she wanted to thank for the light box idea. So I say a lot of people seem to like that idea. I'm gonna say it is really, really good using the light box. It does make it a lot easier. Some people will actually have the light shining above them. So if you've got like a knot light or something like that, that does make it a lot easier to see your stitches from above as well, not the holes from above. Stray cat here. But I prefer the light coming from below. It just seems to make it a bit easier for me for some reason. And Sally asks if I have a... If it's just got darker, I apologise, the sun's just gone in. Asks if I have a unicorn chart or kit, something you would like that's hard to find. She is other fuss, she was talking about them. No, I don't. Normally, I don't go looking for charts or kits unless it's one that... Well, let's put it through it. The charts and the kits that I have are generally when I go on the sites. So I don't go on particularly to look for a specific chart or design or anything like that. I just go on and have a look and see what's available at the time. So no, I don't have a unicorn chart. Or if I do, I forgot which one it was. I know when I first started out doing cross stitching, there was so many charts. So it's like, well, I'd really like to do that one. I'd really like to do that one. But then I picked the ones that I've got. So the ones that I did like, I have no idea what they were. So, but no, I don't have a unicorn chart or anything like that. The one I would have said would have been the big cats. It took me ages to find that one. But I say, eventually I obviously got it. But that one took me about 6 months, I think, to find that one. Ever since I did it in diamond painting, I always was like, oh, I wonder if you can do that in cross stitch. It's like someone's bound to have the cross stitch chart. So then I went looking to see if I could find it. And I say, eventually I did find it at Tilton Crafts. Right. Next question. Phone keeps locking itself, so I apologise. Well, thank you again for Jodie as well for reminding me that for cleaning windows, use newspaper. Haven't done that for a long time. Obviously when I was younger, when we used to clean the windows at home, that's all we used to use was the roll-up newspaper. And you say it doesn't leave streaks, but it used to when I used to do it when I was younger. But I probably used to put too much glass cleaner on. I have a habit of that. It wasn't until I actually started working at the petrol station, and the lady who was training me up there, because I had to do cleaning at night time, because obviously it's quieter at night time, so I had to do all the cleaning of the fridges and toilets and stuff like that, so the mirrors. And she told me you only need to put like 1 or 2 sprays on, that's it, and then that's enough to do a full mirror. I mean, the mirrors there were quite a decent sized ones, so I was like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, you don't need a lot. She says that's why you get a lot of streaks on. things, she says people put way too much on to what they need. You only need 1 or 2 squares, and that's all you need. So since then, my windows haven't been too bad. He says. I haven't really cleaned many windows since then, but... Alright, the next one is from Danielle, the Cardiff Stitcher, on YouTube, who asks, how many pages is the supersized Tiger Family of the Jungle? So that is... pretty sure it's 100 and then it's 104 or 102 pages. I will tell you in 2 seconds. Let me just get to where I need to be on this one, and then I will have a look on the chat. So this is a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. So it's 104 pages. And so far I've done 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages. So that's how many pages that one is. When I first got it, I was like, 104, wow, that's a lot. But I don't mind. She also wants to know how I managed to keep stitching on just the 1 page. She's doing a large piece and seems to cross country over onto other pages. So I do that too sometimes, but with me, I only feather into. Let me see. I only feather into the next page. So if my colour runs into the next page, I'll do certain ones until it stops. I won't continue going on and on and on, because with me, I am aiming to do just page finishes on this one. So that's why I just stop once I get to the end of the page, feather into the next page, and then just continue with the page that I'm on. Except obviously on this part where I came down, because the page stopped there, and I did all this down here instead of just feathering in, just because I wanted to see what the tiger looked like. So yeah, so that's how I do it anyway. I mean, I could just continue. As I say, sometimes you just pick a colour and it just continues running on and on and on and on, and you thought, I could do all that, but no. So, a bit of restraint. So, I'm just keeping an eye on the weather as well. I have my washing out. So, if all of a sudden it cuts off mid-sentence, and that's me running out to bring the washing in, because we're meant to be having showers this afternoon. Whether we do it or not is a different thing, but it says we are. Right, next question. Oh, thank you as well for everybody who mentioned with regards to where you can buy bulk needles from. So a lot of people said like from either Etsy or from John James Direct. So the next one is nothing but string on Etsy. They want to know how hang on, let me have a look. Tell us how you end your threads on small count fabrics, especially on charts that have a ton of confetti. I'm finding that when I do a pin stitch on 22 count, there are so many confetti stitches that I end up with a ton of pin stitches that in turn start distorting the fabric. So, as you know, I do pin stitches on this one. Now, what I do is, instead of with my pin stitches, is if, say for example, this is my last stitch, yeah? If I've got nothing in the blocks below, I'll pin stitch in there. If there's still a fair bit in there, then I'll move to a different block and pin stitch in there, assuming I've got enough thread. That stops you from having way too many in one block, because as you say, it does kind of distort the fabric a little bit. So I try to avoid doing that, so I will only do so many, like one full block, 100 by 100, 100 by 100, 10 by 10. And if there's like, say, 6 in there, I'll move to a different block and pin stitch there. If I haven't got enough thread, or there's too many pin stitches around, then I will just turn it over and run it under the stitches. So I'll show you in a second. Finish this few little stitches here. Like I say, it also depends on as well as how you're doing your stitching, if you're doing cross country or if you're just colour completing or just working along as you go, just doing like 10 by 10 blocks. Or it also depends on that, because if you're doing like extreme cross country, even cross country when on its sort of full page, first page, sometimes again depends on how much confetti you have. It can be that you've got nothing around to anchor it under. So let me change needle. Right, so you're going to see the back of this one now. So see, with this one here, so because I finished that one, I would, if I've got more of this colour running along here, for example, I'll pin stitch it under there because I know I'm going to stitch over it. Or here, I would probably pin stitch down the bottom or into one of these surrounding ones because there's not many stitches in them. If there's too many stitches in it, say for example if I were in this one and round here was full, then what I would do is I would flip it over. So yes, this is my back. It is messy. It's messier than it would normally be, because normally I only do 1 page at a time, but last one I did 2 pages. So I would then run it under. Sorry, I would just run it under the stitching. So this is what I'm saying. If you haven't got a lot of stitching around here and you don't want to do the pin stitches, what I would do is I would leave this on the front until I've got enough stitches around it, so then I can run it underneath. And all I would do is just run it under a couple of stitches, and that's it. Simple as. But 9 out of 10 I try and do my pin stitch. But again, it depends on how full things are getting and everything. This one. Next colour. Be this one. This is the only thing with parking, having so many, especially on this one, with it being a max colour one, you get a lot more confetti. So when you're parking with this one, you have a lot more to do. And I think that's the last one. That's the last question I've got in there. So it was a bit of a mixture of consensus with regards to my last stitch with me when I asked if you would prefer me just to work on supersized tiger family every week. First stitch with me is for one of them, and then an extra one for the second one. Some people said yes, some people said no, mix it up. Some people said stitch what you want. So we will see. I think because normally I'm going to be filming my videos at the weekend, if I can get them both done in one weekend, I'll get them both done in one weekend. I think you probably will see this one a fair bit more, and then an extra one afterwards, just because I always work on this one at the weekend. But if I don't get a chance to do them at the weekend and I'm doing it throughout the week, then you will get different ones. That's in the wrong spot. So I'm going to say this week it's going to get this one, and then the next one I'll have to decide which one I'm going to do. But it's going to be one with obviously 10 stitch on, so I can show how I work on the 10 stitch. As I say, 10 stitch is pretty easy once you get the hang of it, and the stitching way of doing it, I suppose. Like I say, I don't mind either. I like them all. I do prefer the 10 stitch coverage though on the 28 count better to on the 25. Although 25 it does cover pretty well. The darker colours you can see through them a bit, but that's only when you're really close up. I say Mini Deer Creek was all 10 stitch, and you couldn't see the gaps between the dark unless you were right on top of it. So, and my brother didn't moan about it, so he obviously liked it. So yeah, Mummy is 70 soon. What, in about 3 weeks? 3 weeks yesterday. Mum will be 70. So I asked my brother if they were doing anything for her. And he says, like, a lot of people are still apprehensive about going out over in the UK because of all the COVID. They're still having over like 200,000 cases a day. Well, that's because they have idiots who decide things are not, well, rules are not for them, and they will go out without masks if they're not being vaccinated. You get a lot of these people who are anti-vaccine, so they're not getting vaccinated. So a lot of people are still a bit dubious about going out anywhere. So it's just going to be him and my brother, my niece, and one of the friends. And they're probably just going to take her out for a meal. And he's buying her a teddy bear for her birthday. Was that okay? So apparently she's always wanted one of these kind of teddy bears. I think they're called a Steve bear or something like that. I've never heard of them before, but apparently she's always wanted one. And it was like, okay, never heard of them. So he sent me a picture of what he's getting her. And it's just like one of the old-fashioned teddy bears with the joints where the arms and legs move. So it's one of them apparently. She's always wanted one. I was like, well, she's never mentioned it to me, so no idea. So I said, well, what do you want me to get her? He went, I'll just buy her a big bunch of flowers. I was like, oh, all right then. So I'll get on into Flora later on, and well, nearer the time, and order a big bouquet of flowers for her. Unless I find something else, but I'll say, when I speak to her later on, I'll ask her if she wants anything in particular anyway. And if she does, I'll look at getting her that. If not, she'll get a bunch of flowers. No, my mum, though, she'll probably just say, oh, I just want a card. I don't know if your parents are like that. My mum's been like that since, as far as I can remember. What do you want for your birthday? Oh, just give me a card. What do you want for Christmas? Oh, just give me a card. I thought, well, no, you're going to get some L's. So after the time, sure, I'll have some DVDs. Okay, what DVDs do you want? I don't know. I've seen some films that I wanted, what I wouldn't mind watching. Well, what are those ones? I don't know. They're on one of my DVDs I've seen. Well, you better go through your DVDs and tell me which ones you want. Now my brother, or my twin brother, he will just buy DVDs. But I think he just buys the ones that he wants to watch. And my mum will open them up and she's like, I've never even heard of this one. I've never even heard of this one either. And then she'll watch it and she'll go, that's why I bought it. He says, it's a load of rubbish. So yeah, my brother normally buys her rubbish DVDs that she doesn't like, but she'll watch them anyway. And then she'll never watch them again. I think we're doing pin stitch on 25 count. I always seem to undo it for some reason. I always miss the middle part and undo it again. And she keeps asking me to send her over some chocolate from here. We have Maltesers, but we have the dark chocolate Maltesers instead of the milk chocolate one. And she's like, oh, they sound really, really nice. She said, you can't get them over here. I went, oh, really? She went, no, you can't get them. I was like, oh, okay then, because the advert for them over here was actually filmed in the UK. So you can always tell which one's the UK adverts over here. And I was like, all right, I thought you'd have them. She went, no, we don't have them. And I was like, okay. So I was like, but it's pointless me trying to send her any chocolate because probably by the time she gets it, it'll be melted. Especially coming from the warmth over here and then straight out. Well, it's been pretty warm over in the UK from what I understand. So, yeah, it'll probably melt. Sorry about that. One of the cats was making a really weird noise that I've never heard before. So I had to go and investigate to see what's happening. Thought maybe Tiger was getting kiddy or something like that. Well, I'm going to say it definitely went Ginge, because Ginger's asleep on the sofa. Oh, speaking of, last week, Stitch with me, I did say I was going to insert a video or photo of Tiger and Ginge trying to squeeze into one small cat bed, and I completely forgot to add it on. So I will add it on to this video for you when I get round to editing it. So this part here that I'm doing, this is the end of the page here. So as you can see, it just slightly goes over into the next page. Well, actually, there's a lot of this in the next page, but how the stitches are, it's just these couple of little ones here. So I will just stitch these, and then that kind of gives me my feathering into the next page, just stop me from getting the page breaks. Which, to be fair, it's working really well. I don't have any page breaks. The only one that looks like I've got any kind of page break on this piece is, if you can see, this here. So because it's got just a row of black that comes all the way down, and then a little bit of colour, then black again, it looks like I've got a page break. When you're looking at it, it looks like it's just been folded there, but it isn't. But that is where the page break actually is. But I did feather into it on certain parts, so it looks like there is one, but there isn't one, if that makes sense. And I'm great at explaining stuff. So yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying. So yes, I will insert that video on here this time. So that will be at the end. I haven't done anything stupid just lately for me to catch on video. They always do it when I haven't got my phone handy. Do any kind of stupid things. If I can, Kitty started playing with one of the curtains. Well, it's not the curtains as such. We've got the wire that you run through the curtains at the top, and where the curtain is, there is a speaker near it. And just over the last couple of days, she started sitting on the speaker and trying to catch the wire for the curtain. Or you'll be stood there and all of a sudden this paw will come around the curtain, and all you can see is this paw moving up and down, and then all of a sudden a head will pop up. You're like, what are you doing, you deaf cat? So if I can catch that at any point, I'll insert that for you as well. So I don't know how far we are with this one. I think it's around about 50 minutes-ish. So I'm going to leave this one here. And then I will have a break, do some stitching, and then I will record my next one. Well, either later on tonight or tomorrow. So again, any questions or comments, please feel free to drop those down below. So obviously any questions on this video or the next one will not be answered until next week's Stitch with Me's, because I'm doing these prior to them being uploaded. So there will be both of these done before the first one even goes out. So just so you are aware, if you do ask a question, unless it comes on one of my other videos prior to this, it won't get answered until next week's ones. Just so that you are aware. So, as I say, we're going to leave that one here. So again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed listening to my blabbering on. I can't even speak. So again, until the next video, happy crafting. Any questions, comments, please feel free to drop those down below. Or the usual stuff. Send me an email with your question on, or on Instagram as well. And we'll get those answered for you. All details are down below in the description box. So until the next video, I say stay safe. Happy stitching, happy crafting, happy whatever you're doing. And we will catch you in the next one. So until next time. Oh, I never told you how many stitches I've done. Let's tell you how many stitches we've done first. Let's do this one. Where have I done it? Just marking off what I've done. So we did 122 stitches, so not bad at all. So that would now take my percentage up to 11.82%. Almost at 12%. Get in. So again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. So until then, stay safe and take care. Bye bye for now.